underscore the trap beats the fix is saying, ooh. DJ Focus, tell him turn you up, ooh. DJ Focus, tell him turn you up, ooh.
Welcome back, DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. You tap back into the Fixx, your source of faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. And it's time for our spiritual detox. And Dice, we got a special one today.
Yes, we do.
I was excited. I'll be honest with you. I was excited when I saw some Kingdom sneakers floating around all on Instagram and stuff. And I didn't know at first. So for one, I didn't know it was a professional athlete that was promoting it. But I seen them and I was like, oh, okay, these is kind of cool. But then I did a little history on little searching. I'm like, oh, this is even better. Yeah, this is even better when you got somebody on a large platform, a professional basketball player who is sold out for Jesus. Yeah, we rock with that around here all day, every day. Listen, I'm definitely, we are definitely excited to welcome in a super talented NBA basketball player from the Orlando Magic, Jonathan Isaac. What's going on, brother?
Yo, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Come on, man. Thank you for coming by here. I wish I had the sound effect pad. Focus has it over there. I would have been like, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
No, brother. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. It is an honor. Thank you.
Absolutely. Likewise.
Hey, so let's talk about it. We got a lot to talk about with you, man. So first, listen, my grandfather used to tell me if you don't stand for something, you'll go for anything. And one thing I know you were very vocal about, and you took a stance and not kneeling for the national anthem. Can you just speak to that and why that meant so much to you to represent your faith compared to being, black first?
Right. Honestly, that it was such a crazy time that even now, when I look back on it and I talk about it, I can't really put into words how crazy that time was. Because I mean, we know you even said it just now about being black first and how ingrained that is to black culture and just black people. At the end of the day, we ride for ours. We're gonna do what we do, and that was definitely something that I felt around that time. Right? You have the tragic death of George Floyd. You have all that going on. You have the rise of the Black Lives Matter organization and movement, and it's so easy to just be like, "Yo, all right, bet black is everything. We own that. We should be upset. We should be angry." And not saying we shouldn't be, but we should march to the beat of this Black Lives Matter organization and movement's drum. They say what we should do. We should post the black squares. We should post the black squares. We should, be hostile and belligerent. We should be hostile and belligerent. We should go out in the streets and do all that, do all the stuff that we do. And we get a pass because of what happened to George Floyd. And so when that originally happened, for me, it was like, how do I go about this situation, knowing that for me personally, it isn't necessarily black first, it's Christ first. And how do I implement myself into this movement? How do I be vocal, or do I need to be vocal at all? And one of the things that I remember was whenever I would have conversations with people that were strong, that felt strongly about the Black Lives Matter organization, and I would say, man, I hear all that. I saw what happened. I see the issue, man, but I believe that Christ is the answer. Man, we ain't with all that right now. That we ain't say all that Jesus stuff another time. This is our time. You know what I'm saying? This is time for Black revolution. And so I never felt comfortable in the movement. And so I just kind of stayed around the outside. And then we got to this moment where the NBA players are going into this bubble, and we already know they're kind of gearing us up for it. Black Lives Matters on the court, Black Lives Matters on the jerseys. Like it's going to be all over the place. So, I'm there. I'm fine with it. And then the day before we play, the first team kneels for the national anthem. And now it's like, oh, shoot, they knelt. So it's like now this trickle down effect. And so our team officials, we have a team meeting. They say, hey, whatever you guys want to do, you guys decide. They put us in a room and it's just the players only. And the players are like, look, we ain't got a choice. They already know. We just go with the flow. And one of my teammates turned towards me and is like, yo, what you going to do? What you going to do, John? And I was like, fellas, I'm not going to kneel. I'm not going to wear that T-shirt. And it was like, you could hear a pin drop and then just chaos broke out. Oh my gosh, here we go with the Jesus stuff. They already knew at that time it was. And so, and as they were asking me, why I felt the way that I felt, for me, it was like, I didn't agree that kneeling for the national anthem and wearing a T-shirt was going to be a viable solution for the true problem at hand. And so when you look at racism, you look at all the things that plague our society, they're heart issues. And one of the things that I was saying to myself was that I know what changes the hearts of men, white, black, and indifferent. It's the gospel. And it's not going to be an organization. It's not going to be a movement. It's not going to be a political party that's going to truly create real everlasting change that we need. And I felt like kneeling for the national anthem was only going to create more hostility because of, the way a lot of other people feel about the flag and about the nation. It was just like this. Yeah, we can do this, and we know that's going to get y'all upset and all this other stuff. And so one of the things that before I went into the bubble, my pastor was actually preaching a sermon on, when Jesus got captured by the Roman guard and how, Peter lunges forward, cuts the guy's ear off, and Jesus says, if you live by the sword, you'll die by the sword. And what my pastor was saying was, if we as Black people, especially as Black Christians, walk into this moment acting in the same way that Black people have acted when it comes to this issue, we'll always get the same result. And if we can step into this moment with love first, which is radically difficult to do, especially when you see something like a George Floyd, if we could lead with love, but we could lead with, yeah, but I sin too. I fall short of the gospel, the glory of God too. And if I can show the love of God, which is in spite of our sins, in spite of our shortcomings, then we could have real change. We could be the leaders on that front and show the world how to love in this moment. And so that's what it was. We went into that moment. I was on the phone with my pastor the night before now after we had that meeting. And I'm telling him, like, I don't think you understand how crazy this is going to be. Like, I'm going to be a sellout to a lot of people. Yeah, I'm going to be a coon. I'm going to be Uncle Tom. Like, I hadn't signed my contract extension yet at the time. And so, money was on the line. If something happened, I wasn't playing basketball no more because of the situation. And he said to me, Jonathan, you cannot stand for God and God not stand for you. And I was like, ooh. And I was like, all right, bet I'm gonna go through with it. And I just tried my best to kind of do it humbly and gracefully to say, look, I see the problem. I just don't agree with that solution. I believe that the solution is lifting up the name of Jesus. And at the end of the day, if we go by his word, then we can make a way out of this.
That's good. That's good, man. And trust me, if you hadn't been on your Jesus juice since before that, you probably would have got eaten up, bro. But you had such a great track record, at being public about what your faith is and who you believed in. And I was like, ooh, but I think it's a testament to, like, that's why we should be very vocal about it, because it wasn't like a last minute, oh no, Jesus wouldn't want me to do it. You know what I'm saying? It was like, no, he been on this. You know what I'm saying? Really, really good points. And it's a tough thing. I'm glad you brought it up. Focus and I have talked about this before. My father was the first Black lieutenant on the sheriff's department, Vanderburgh County, Evansville, Indiana. So when that happened, I had to pick my side, and it was tough for me in conversation, but I was like, you've never seen your father get up at 2:00 in the morning and put on a bulletproof vest and go out in the middle of the drama. So I get it. I really get it. But this whole see a cop, pop a cop, yeah, I can't ride with you, so that's what I'm saying. So I kind of appreciated it from a different aspect of, yeah, like, let's think outside the box. And yeah, let's approach it differently. So I appreciate you doing that.
And it doesn't mean that there's not room for conversation and to try your best to get things done. So people think, oh, as soon as you say Jesus, is like, okay, so now you don't want any reform, you don't want anything to change or to make better. I'm like, yo, we have made immeasurable progress over the last however many years, and we can continue to, but not with this tone, not with this rhetoric. That's just something I can't get down with.
Were you able, in the midst of doing that, were you able to, some of your teammates or some of the other players, did they reach out and start to, like, build a relationship with you and maybe want to know more about your faith because of you taking that stance?
Absolutely. And I got to say too, like, it was heated. Like, we had so after it happened, and I wrote about it a little bit in my book, but after it happened, the next day we had practice, and now we on the way back from practice, and we on a bus to the hotel, and we all get a text message to our phones, the players group chat, yo, team meeting when we get back to the hotel. And so I'm like, all right, bet. And I'm getting off the bus, and one of my teammates, goes by me and said, look, just heads up, it's about you.
They called a whole meeting about you, huh?
we get we get in the meeting, and it was hot. It was hostile. Like, and some guys felt like I was hijacking the movement, felt like I was making it about me. And granted, like, we had a few players on the team that was in it. Like, they was going to the rallies, they was deep, and so I understood the emotions of the time. Like, I wasn't trying to chalk it up to, just get over it. Like, I'm like, yo, I hear what you're saying, but I respected your decision to kneel, bro. Like, I just want that same respect in return. And, I had teammates that were like, yo, we know Jonathan. We know what he about. He not about division. He not about, like, he a Christian. Like, that's what he is. And so we were able to leave the room amicably, but it was hostile. And then fast forward to people start learning a little bit about the way that Black Lives organization used the money, some stuff like that. And I had conversations with guys where they were like, yo, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry about the way that I handled that situation. I probably was a little too emotional. But I had players from other sports, soccer players, baseball players reaching out saying, yo, I want to do the same thing. Can you coach me through how to do this? Because I don't think I can be as articulate or, as poised as you, but I feel the same sentiment that Christ is the answer. I just know that if they put a mic in my face, I'm not going to be able to do it. And so I walked a couple guys through what that would look like, white guys especially, and they're like, "Yo, I'm gonna get crucified if they do it." And so it definitely led to a lot of great conversation and respect.
Go ahead, focus, because I'll hijack the whole conversation. I'm just sitting here like, oh, the haters. Like, that it takes a lot. It takes a lot of strength. But I mean, being a man of faith, we already know, it's going to be some adversity, and everybody's not going to think like us. But you are right when you say Jesus is the answer. And so I'm just glad you're on here sharing that story as an athlete.
And I was terrified. Like I say this all the time when I'm speaking to folks. Like, I was insanely terrified, like shaking. Like, I was one, I didn't sleep the night before, and two, like, even when it was time to the moment, like, I'm just like, God, like, I I more so understand what it means now when Jesus says, like, he who tries to save his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake will find it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that was one of the moments of, like, I'm losing my life. I'm kind of casting my, like, the money was on the line, like, my social credibility was on the line, my black card was on the line, like, God, like, I'm giving it to you. And I was terrified. And so, even just encouragement to anybody else that's feeling afraid, like, I was just as afraid, probably more, with it being on a national stage. But God is faithful, and you can trust Him to be there for you.
That's real. That's real. Listen, DJ Focus, Dice Gamble, we got to go to a quick break. We coming right back with more from Jonathan Isaac. Keep it locked. You're tuned into the Fixx.
And the Fixx is in.
Only Culture Radio. We're not just background noise. We play the music that inspires you because every song has a story. Christian hip hop and R&B music and talk on Siriusxm channel 154, 24 hours a day. Holy Culture Radio is changing the game. Discussions about faith, arts, vocation, and education. We talk about the real issues that affect our communities and work together to find solutions. Join the discussion at holyculture.net and be heard.
Welcome back. DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. You tap back into the Fixx. Listen, we still got NBA forward Orlando Magic representative Jonathan Isaac on with us still. So come on, talk about this Judah 1. Let's be very clear. This is the first signature shoe that has visible Bible verses on the shoe. So talk about just everything. Did you envision that the shoe would come out the way it came out? Like, was this always what you wanted? Did you get the finishing product that you wanted?
We definitely got the finished product that we want, but the story in terms of getting there was completely God. Like, so back, even when talking about the whole 2020 and the bubble thing, I got injured in the bubble. And so I was originally signed to Nike while I was in the bubble. I was a Nike athlete. And after I got injured, they didn't re-sign me. And so I went to my pastor, and I was like, just telling him, like, yo, I don't got a shoe company no more. Just letting him know, just debriefing him on my life. And he was like, make your own. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, nobody just make their own shoe. They got a company behind them. And he's like, you do it. Like, make your own shoe. And so I'm like, okay. And so I started going down the road of, like, I'm gonna make my own shoe, and I'm gonna make it authentically me. And so my middle name is Judah. We're gonna call it the Judah 1. We just started playing with it. And then it was like, yo, like, the same way that these, that players have companies behind them that create the shoe, why don't you start the company behind it as well, and have it be your own company that stands up for your values, what you believe in, and you're able to give that to other people who share the same values as you do. And so it turned into this big thing where my pastor came to me. He was like, you need to call it Unitas as the company. And I'm like, shoot, I'm with you. Like, I'm gonna call it whatever you like. I'm gonna call it that. And so we just started building, like, just behind the scenes. And we started Unitas. We were working on the Judah 1, and all really just came together beautifully. And we were able to create, like you said, the first one with visible Bible verses on it. And it was just something that was authentically me. Like, I was, like, we talk about, I'm a Christian. I'm like, I want Bible verses to be on it. I want the Lion of Judah to be on it, all that different stuff, and it just turned out really dope. And I'm excited to say that it's out now. Folks can check it out at weareunitas.com, UNITUS, We're Unitas. 4 of the 5 colorways have dropped so far, and there's one more that's dropping tomorrow.
Exclusive,
Yeah,
but we ain't got nothing in the mail yet. Exclusive.
What? And you didn't bring that? Fuck, wow.
The way my Amazon account work, the way my
real
Amazon
talk, I
account
got
work.
you. Like no.
I get one of them jokers at 4 o'clock in the morning at the door.
Seriously, I got y'all. I got y'all each.
You know, FedEx work all night long. Understand what I'm saying?
I got each of y'all with a pair for. We just gotta stay. We gotta connect after this.
Absolutely.
So what's next for you? So you're out here, you're starting. First of all, let me go back. Are you okay if this shoe is not ever as big as Nike? Because when you brought that up, I didn't even know that. I knew you had a company. I thought you had a clothing line, if I wasn't mistaken. But there's a lot of competition with shoes in general. So it's like, is this just simply for the faith? You know what I'm saying? Or are you like, no, I really want to see this shoe go?
Oh well, I definitely want to see the shoe go, but for me, it's more about, it's like I have this vision in my mind of like a feeling. Like I know what it is to have the feeling of standing alone. I know what that's like to be the only one who's thinking a certain way, and I know that for so long Christians especially have had that feeling of like being in school, you in a room, and nobody else believes like you do or thinks like you do. It's a really lonely feeling, and I'm thinking to myself, if we could create something, one that's not that's really for the culture, and to get people to have full confidence and encouragement in the values that they believe and stand up for. So when you a Christian, it's not just I'm a Christian, I'm a second class citizen, and I need to shy away, but it's like, yo, what I have is the truth, and I have what the world needs, and now I have a brand that stands up for my values and beliefs, and I can put on and be encouraged about who I am in Christ and who I am and with everybody else who's wearing it as well, the values that they hold, white, black, and different. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, of course I want to see it go, of course I want to see it blow up, but if I can deliver that feeling to Christians all around the country, all around the globe, that look different, come from different places, different backgrounds, then I've won. And ultimately, it's for the kingdom anyway. So it's not about outpacing Nike or anything like that. The world is going to do what the world does, but I wanted to deliver something for us, by us, that we can be encouraged by.
That's amazing. Listen, share a little bit of your faith journey. Have you always been this sold out for Christ? Like, what? Yeah, no, for real. Because like you just inspiring me over here. I'm like, have you always had this fire to like really represent Christ by all means necessary?
Not at all. My story is insane, and so there really ain't a shameless plug, but it's just I can't tell you the whole thing right now. If you want to check out my story, you can check out the book Why I Stand. It's on Amazon. Check it out. That tells you the whole backstory. But I grew up in church. Like my daddy was the Holy Ghost roller. We was in church all the time, but it was just traditional for me. It wasn't like something that I actually believed, or I understood that you could have a tangible relationship with Jesus. And so my parents split up when I'm 10. I moved from Bronx, New York to Naples, Florida. So I go from all black community to all white community. And I struggled so bad. Like my nickname was Ethiopia because I was tall, I was lanky, I was dark. And so I
No, they didn't call you. No, they did.
Ethiopia.
Listen, I put my hands up for you. I just feel like you just wanted to suck. Like what? Say it again. Say it again.
That was my nickname. Like they would call me that. I got in so many fights, like just trying to adjust. But it really,
I mean, it's kind of pretty. I kind of like. I hate. I like it. I like it because I know about Ethiopia. I'm like,
right.
It's kind of off the chain though. But
My,
yeah, no, that sucks. Go ahead.
my cheekbones and all that. They're like, oh, you're Ethiopian. And so yeah. But during that time, I really struggled with like anxiety, like real self insecurity, trying to fit in with these kids, and that's why I latched on to basketball so hard, because once I started playing, I started to get everything that I thought I wanted. Like the girls started wanting to, hang out with me. The dudes, they wanted me on their team now, be picking up Jay, all that stuff. And so I really just put everything into this game, but I was still struggling with this anxiety behind the scenes where if I would play good, everything was great. If I would play bad, then I felt like I was going to lose everything that I had gained. And so I was always in this limbo of up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down emotionally, to the point where I'm the number one player in the state of Florida. I'm going to Florida State University, and I'm on anxiety medication to play. Nobody knows. Teammates don't know. Parents don't know. Just me, a coach, and a trainer know about what I'm struggling with behind the scenes of being this big man on campus. Everybody expecting you to lead them to the national tournament and all that stuff, and I'm carrying this on my shoulders of, if I mess up, I'm gonna lose everything. And so fast forward to I get drafted. I'm the sixth pick, and one day I'm on an elevator, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in between there. But just to carry it on, one day I'm on an elevator, and this dude stops me. I'm in Orlando. I'm a rookie. I'm living life. Like, I'm like, look, I want to experience everything that the NBA got to offer. Like, I'm I'm in there, and so but I still have, I still have Jesus in my back pocket. Where it's like, if somebody asks me if I'm a Christian, I'm gonna say I'm a Christian. If times got bad enough, I switch my playlist up, listen to some gospel music to get back on track, something like that. But I'm on an elevator at this new spot that I'm living in now in Orlando. God stops me and says, "I can tell you how to be great." And I'm like, "How?" He's like, "You got to know Jesus." And I'm like, "Man, I know Jesus. I'm a Christian, all that stuff." But from that moment, my life got completely like flipped upside down. Like, I start seeing this guy all over the place in the parking lot, elevator, front of the building, all this different stuff. And he uh, uh, he invites me to church. I mean, no, he invites me to lunch, and I'm like, man, I don't want to go lunch with you, in the back of my head, but I end up going. And not to take you down the whole road, but that man eventually became my pastor, and he taught me about the love of God and how it's unconditional. We don't have to fight for it. We don't have to play for it. We don't have to make a shot for it. And it completely changed my life to the point where I was so used to working for love, and working for acceptance. And when I was just able to kind of let go and find my identity and confidence and boldness in Christ, it changed everything. And it's still a process, something I'm still working through to this day. But I've learned how to fight back against the lies of the enemy. And what's so beautiful to me, even about the book and even about the whole staying in the bubble thing, is like, people a lot of people were like, "Yo, this is so courageous, this is so bold," but I'm like, "Yo, you don't know me. Like, if you knew my story, if you know who, like, you would understand that it truly is just a transformational work of Jesus Christ, because I'm the last person that would ever want to stand alone for anything, especially if I'm going to be name called and ridiculed for it. It's just not it's not who I am. It's not my DNA." And so for it to be the case and to be what happened, I know it's God.
Mm-mm-mm. Listen, shout out to all y'all pastors out here. Y'all better keep sowing seeds. You never know how that's gonna come back and bless your life.
I just gotta say this too. I'm so glad you say that, because one of the things that my wife says all the time, she'd be like, when I be looking at these podcasts and stuff like that, not your guys' podcast at all, but a lot of these interviews and stuff like that, it's always bashing the church in one way, shape, or form, or bashing the pastor, something like that. And I'm like, nobody ever really talks about the good that pastors do in the community, that churches do in the community. Like, my pastor is the bomb. Like, people really don't talk about it. And so just thank you for your shout out. I appreciate that. It's good and bad.
For sure. Listen, people want to know about the quality of this shoe, man. Talk about it a little bit before we get you out of here, the quality of this sneaker, because that's big for a ball player. Like, did you use top quality material? Are they durable? Like, we want to know, when we step out on the court, how good is this sneaker in performance wise?
Yeah, all I can say is it is the exact sneaker that I'm wearing night in and night out on the NBA floor. It's the same one. And so a lot of times what other companies do is they'll reinforce the player sneakers that they have NBA guys wearing, and they'll sell the public an unreinforced pair, or a pair that's not to the same quality. It's the same thing. I'm wearing, if you wear a 16, which is like I wear, we wearing the same exact shoe that I'm wearing night in and night out on the NBA floor. So it is complete, it's durable, it's strong, and you're gonna be all right, trust me.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What's that one thing you want to share with a up and coming athlete who may be scared to be bold like yourself about their faith?
Man, I would say the same thing my pastor told me. You can't stand for God and God not stand for you. At the end of the day, God is faithful. He got us, and it's like the enemy is hilarious, man. He's good at what he does, but he has no power. He has no power. And when we truly trust in God and just take steps forward in boldness and confidence, God got us. and we can't be messed with. And so I just encourage you to just stay planted in your word, keep moving forward, and let it be about him. Let it be about God. Let it not be about you. And when we get ourselves in the way, we mess everything up. Like, let it be about honor and glory in the King, and just be yourself.
Listen, we just want to give you your roses, and we want to thank you, J.I., for real, because, yes, again, you are in the NBA, and you being able to be more vocal about your faith and represent the body, because we all a community. So we listen, we cheering for you, we here for you, and we appreciate you, brother. Listen, tell the people how they connect with you, follow you on all your social media platforms, where they can buy any of your merch, your shoes, and everything.
Yeah, thank you so much. Jonathan Isaac on Instagram, Twitter. The main one is Unitas, so weareunitas.com. UNITUS is the website. And yeah, just check me out there. If you want to check out the book, Why I Stand, head to Amazon, and it's much appreciated.
We got to go to a break. We'll be right back. Keep it locked. You're tuned into The Fixx.
Hey, and the Fixx is in.